What about now? Do you guys hear me on the stage? Yes, yes, yes. Give me some yeses, please. Please tell me you guys hear me. Let me see if I can hear myself. Oh, I hear myself. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Okay. It was just some stupid music on the thing. Okay. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. All right. Good to see you guys. All right. Anybody who doesn't, who's bitching about the fact that, that I want you guys to trade Apex and that I want you to come join me as a small favor for me trading live and showing you how I trade every single day with my setups, you can absolutely go fuck yourself. Okay. Be my guest. You don't have to be in this live tude anywhere. In inevitable words of a New Yorker, GFTU, okay, go. I'm more than happy to have you leave us. For all the rest of you who want to make money with me, I'm going to actually talk to you today. I'm going to just do a kind of a notepad version of this, but we're going to formalize it so you're going to be able to see exactly my game plan to try to make $1,000 a day towards the $15,000 funding of a $250,000 account. How I'm going to try and do this with the two accounts. Super, super simple. And super clean. In the meantime, the only thing that's going on right now is I'm long S&P from 1275, targeting 1375 off of the classic buy setup, buy signal trade over here. The market is above a 200 SMA. My scalper is showing me trades. I'm basically trying to trade for this one point target on the S&P. There is a signal on NASDAQ, but I'm not taking NASDAQ because I'm already long S&P. And if the trade turns against me, I really don't want to be double stopped out. No need to do this 15 minutes before the market open. So we're going to just simply take one trade at a time right now. And seriously, you're bitching about the fact that I want you guys trading with Apex. I mean, it's just crack me up. And I do want you to trade with Apex. Apex has a 50% discount right now, and the 250 account is only $125, really, really cheap. So let me kind of, while we're sitting on a trade here, let me, first of all, you know what I wanted to do? Let me see if I have this. I think it's, let me just send you the video. This is for those of you who want the full explanation of how my scalp strategy works. I think it's VSCLP. Is that right? I forgot what I did. Hang on. Let me just give you that link. I need to find the VSCLP. Okay, cool. I write these little shortcuts for myself, and then I totally forgot SCLP. Here it is. Okay, in chat, I put in the YouTube link. It's a private link that explains step by step my scalper strategy and what it does. Feel free to watch it anytime. You can save it. It just gives you a much deeper, longer explanation of what I do. But the bottom line is, every time we get it, let's see if I get it. Done. We're done. 50 to the good over here. So 1375 hits right before the market. I could have taken the NASDAQ also, but as I said, I didn't want to double up on the account on the thing. So in our morning live sessions, trading Apex futures, which move very fast and give us lots of opportunities for very quick, slick profits. My go-to strategy is the BK Scalp Trader, which I rewrote over this weekend to make it even cleaner and easier as far as presentation functions go. And the idea here is you get a buy setup a label, which can be used as a trigger if you want it to be, or as a preparatory state in order to take the next crossover of the green zone. So the market dips, crosses over to the green zone. We take that trade, and we do that anytime the 8-period moving average is above the 200 period moving average. In other words, anytime we have a clean clear visibility of upward trend. And we do it about 2 or 3 times from the beginning of the 200-period moving average, from the beginning of this trend. So there may be one more label where I'm going to do scalp to the upside. After that, the chance of continuity, which is what we're doing. We're trading continuity, right? As I've always said, there's only 2 trades ever done. Every single trade, every single trading strategy, every single algorithm, every single HFT move, every single fundamental, I'm going to hold something for 10,000 years idea can be boiled down to just one of 2 concepts. Continuity, meaning I'm buying and I'm thinking it's going higher, or mean reversion, I'm buying because I think it's a top and it's going lower. In other words, I think the market is lying to me or the market is telling me the truth, right? So we trade, market is telling me the truth up to a point. We trade continuity up to a point. Give me some yeses if you understand the concept. Give me some yeses in chat. I want to make sure you guys fully understand that there's only 2 types of market that you want to trade. As a matter of fact, this gives me a chance for, let's do this so that we can fully absorb this lesson. I prefer continuity, mean reversion. First poll of the day. Let's see who is a trender. Let's see who is a fader. Okay. If you like continuity, you obviously like to trade trend. If you like mean reversion, you're a fader. You like to counter trend. Now, I am personally a forced trend trader. My natural personality is to always fade the trend, but I've taught myself how to trade trend and then use my strength of fading trend to in applying this particular indicator in some very unique ways, which I will show you in just a bit. But I'm curious. Right, and remember the BFF. Yes, you're right. Do we have a new version of Scalper? Stephen, I put it in Discord. I'm going to put it in Discord right now. Okay, Stephen, I'm going to just put it in Discord right now. Just bear with me a second. I'm doing it off screen here right now for you guys. So for those of you guys who want to join me in my Discord, I'm going to give you a discount link right now. It's 2SCLP. God damn it. The problem is too many indicators, too many abbreviations. Okay, I'm going to give you guys, here's a link. If you guys want to join me for, to get access to all these indicators, here's the link over there. If you want to join me for coaching, which, by the way, new session tonight. And in coaching, we're going to talk about some of the concepts that I'm talking about right now here. We're going to develop them a lot more in detail. Here's the link to my coaching. The cool thing about this is that it's a 3-month program, 90 full days, everything paid for. Indicators, live trading, coaching, immediate access to me on Discord. All of that is, at one clean price. So you want to try that? That's the best bet. That's literally the best deal I got for you in terms of, coming into the BK world and coming to trade with us. So, let's see how. Oh, look at this! Everybody trading continuity. You bunch of pussies. Oh my God! Look at you. 91%. 91% of you trading continuity. Okay, let's do some more votes here. Continuity, mean reversion. Let's see. No, you're absolutely right. I'm making fun of you, but you're absolutely right. There was this Baltimore Sun columnist at the beginning of 19th century. I think Runyon. His last name was Runyon. And so he used to have a saying that the race doesn't always go to the swiftest. And the boxing match doesn't always go to the strongest. But that's the way to bet, which is that you bet on continuity. You definitely bet on strength. So you guys are absolutely right. I'm just making fun of you. It's just that, if you have a personality that likes to fade things, it likes to go, sell sell highs, buy lows. I have a way for you to do this within our structure. That's actually very methodical and quite good. I've been doing it really, really well. But what I want to talk about today, aside from just the basic trades, and we're waiting for trades, I do have a gold signal here that just popped up over here. Where's gold right now? Oh, it's a counter trend signal, so it's not even a play for me. Okay, we'll leave this alone. Today I really want to focus on NASDAQ and S&P. Yesterday we did a poll, and everybody seems to really, really want to trade NASDAQ. So here's what I decided, and this is you can take it or leave it, but this is my suggestion for my own personality. I think it might help to your personality too. I hate trading NASDAQ. I mean, I like trading NASDAQ and I hate trading NASDAQ because NASDAQ always, every single prop test that I blew up, every single one of them, not exception to the rule, I blew up on NASDAQ, okay? Because that piece of shit will retrace on you in a heartbeat and, take you out on a stop and then go to target. So I despise the instrument, although I have a love-hate affair with it. I do like it too because it's very, very profitable. But I'm actually curious because that's going to be our site. We'll do a follow-up and see how many of you got blown out on NASDAQ versus S&P. But literally every single prop test I've ever gotten blown out on has been on NASDAQ because it's a tough instrument to trade. But everybody loves to trade it because it's so profitable when you hit it hard. By the way, I've also gotten funded on NASDAQ too. So don't get me wrong. I've got a couple of them I've gotten funded on NASDAQ, but 90% of my funds have been on the S&P because that's just, such a bread and butter instrument for me. So, everybody wants to trade NASDAQ. I decided here's what I'm going to do that I think makes the most sense. One account to my left is going to be strictly NASDAQ trades. The other account to my right is going to be strictly S&P trades. This is going to allow me to not get upset when I start losing money on NASDAQ and blow up the whole account relative to that. I can accept the fact that NASDAQ is going to be tough. I can segregate my trades into that account. I can run it. And actually, it's been, I started yesterday. I'm up almost $1,000 on it to 251. It helps me mentally be stable by segregating. Now, I'm a type of person that really needs to have every single, I'm very sequential, like Kathy can do 5,000 things at once. I cannot. I like to do one thing at a time in a nice little tidy box corner. She's also has when we used to, work together, desk to desk, she's just a slob. And I'm like the most, anal retentive person in the world. So you got to know your personality of how you like to manage things. So for me, psychologically, I like separating the accounts and just basically, I consider NASDAQ to be my garbage account and my S&P to be my true account. Okay. So that's like one idea that I think it could be interesting for all of you guys if you are trading. It doesn't matter whether you're trading, you're trading M&Q. I'm trading the large contract because I have a $250,000 account. But of course, if you're smaller accounts, you probably want to be trading the M&Q. But whether you're trading M&Q or NQ, it's still a monster. It's still a beast. I mean, look at this thing. It just dropped. What do we do? 30 points in 1 minute, right? Would have stopped you out, came right back up, and took you down. If you shorted this over here, you would have been stopped out. It's a tough, it's just a tough instrument. It likes to swing. So I give it wide space and its own little domain to work in. I think that's that's an interesting idea of how you could segregate your trades, into a much more manageable control, right? So then, or you can just simply stay away. That's another way of doing it. But regardless, I think it's just sort of an interesting way. So then, the more interesting question is then how do you create a viable trading plan? Now I'm gonna just kind of freebase with you here on the $250,000 account here. Let me just put a new. Here we go. So this is a notepad. I'm just going to bring a notepad over here, just kind of show you my thoughts. And here, I'll make it small so we can follow both. We can watch both charts while I'm just kind of chatting away here. Look for signals and everything else. So We have a $250,000 account, right, in Apex. We need $15,000 to get funded. Okay. So my view on all of this is I'm going to trade for, and you guys can do what you like. I'm going to trade for $100 trade, $300 stop per trade. The reason I'm going to do that is because it's so, and I have 15,000, and one of the sort of annoying or difficult things about a $250,000 account is my drawdown is only 6,500, right? So I have a small drawdown. Look at this pop. Look at this massive, unbelievable, massive pop on NAS. So my drawdown is, my target is 15,000. My drawdown is only half. So it really has to keep me tight. So the reason why I want to do 100, 300, right? First of all, if I do 100, 300, what does that mean? That means I have to do 150 winners to get funded, right? Essentially. It's completely reasonable when you look through the day's charts and you look at the signals that if I trade from, let's say, 4 a.m. till about 4 p.m. or even 2 p.m. Let's say 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. 12 hours, right? I will have 10 signals per day. Easily. I'll probably have more, but let's say I have 10 signals per day, right? And just for the argument's sake, amuse me that I'm going to win every signal. So then I do 100 times 10, which is equal to 15 days to funding. This is ideal. This is kind of like, my ideal template. There will always be a huge amount of friction in that game plan, but at least it's a reasonable game plan. Now, why is this kind of a reasonable game plan for me? So, first of all, if I lose on a trade at 100, 300, I have ample room to go back on the next signal and go 3 times larger and recover. So sort of my game plan would look like, 5 winners. Again, very, very idealistic. Flat, 4 winners. Flat meaning that, I recovered the trade and, 1 winner, whatever. It's obviously idealistic, but within that time, it's a reasonable kind of approach in terms of money and frequency of trade. Realistically, I think we have to expect $500 net on a daily basis. So it may take you up to 30 days to get funded. Probably in the realistic world, somewhere between 500 and 1,000, so 700, 750. So let's say 20 trading days to get funded, about a month to get funded. But, and this is the upside of this, is it's a $250,000 account. It's a large amount of capital that you're then given to trade. And it puts you then, once you're funded, into a very, very enviable position of being able to run that account in the same type of, small size, lots and lots of trades a day, into actually net 500 payout days, continuously with a large set. Now, this is, a game plan for a $250,000 account. A game plan for a $50,000 account takes much less time to get. Even 25,000, which I've done many times before. You see all my certificates. That's like a three day game plan, because you could use sort of the same ratios here, right? But your target is only $1,500, not 15,000. It's 3 or 4 trades a day, 3 days in a row. You're done. So the difference here isn't necessarily, the scale. It's just the fact that at the end of the day, you're having much larger capital in terms of working. So that's just sort of like my own general idea of what I plan on doing here. And we'll develop it. We'll develop it as it goes further. But I kind of want to lay this out in front of you guys as a sort of a, key concept of what I'm trying to do. Now, when we trade live, which is basically about an hour with you guys, generally I make between 3 to 5 trades. So just in 1 hour, I have a chance to make between $300 and $500, let's say $300 on average, right? So it's only like 3 more hours, and you can try to make 1,000. If you're trading full 12 hours, obviously. And the cool thing is, when you're trading this small amount, you don't necessarily have to get, you can miss lots of trades, come back. You can take the opportunities as they come, because there are lots of frequent opportunities. The risks are relatively small to your base. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. You can always come back and repair it. So that's like one approach that I think is kind of interesting. That is a low reward but low risk approach. And then we can talk a lot about like the high reward approach, where I'm just going to do 10 large, 1,000 target, 3,000 stop. The big problem with that is you still have to make 15 winning trades, and you only have 2 losing trades that you can absorb in a row, right? That's the hard part. And you can't scale up on that. So you can do that, but your drawdown is just really, really tight on the conditions of the larger size. You just have to kind of be mindful of that as you trade. So I'm open to to any other ideas you guys may have. But to me, the low risk, low reward trading, which is what I'm doing with you guys, is kind of an interesting way to to participate in this without really taking on too much heat. All right, I'm going to end this poll. It's interesting. So everybody prefers continuity. Now, the next poll that I want to ask, which name the product that blew up your prop. That's what I want to ask you. We're going to say NQ. We're going to say ES, and we're going to say gold, GC. Okay, tell me which product blew up your prop. This means that this was the dominant product which blew you out of your prop. I'm just curious. Let's do a little voting. A little bit quiet here, 9:41. Not much going on over here. We are very, very tight to the trend here, and it's a good time because we're kind of quiet and we don't have too many things going on here. It's a good time with gold sending me a scalp sell. Okay, interesting. So gold has a sell signal, right? And just to kind of run you through how we can run this. There's 2, and the thing is, I'm going to trade one NQ, one ES. I'm not going to be trading gold. I'm just, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you virtually how to trade gold, just because I don't want to pollute my accounts with anything else but ES and NQ right now. So if I go over here, I'm short here at 64.3. That's one way we can do this, with a target of 63.8, 0.5 target, half 5 ticks target. And 64.3 plus 1.5 is 65.3, 65.8. 65.8 would be my stop. So, and looks like it's just going to probably stop me right in here. 65. If I was trading this, I would probably be stopped out. I am, and I'm stopped out on gold, right? So that's one way of doing gold, which is okay, but it's obviously going to can stuff you on the trade. The second, and the way that I prefer doing gold is not to take the sell setup a label, but to wait for this little red triangle, to wait for this, for the second red wave. Remember, what we're trading is just the waves. It's price wave action, right? Right now, we have a little bit of counter trend wave. We have a little bit of buy wave coming in, and we're waiting for this, for the sell wave to come in. And what I prefer, obviously, is selling this, the second sell wave in whatever they set up right now as a structure. So we'll see how that goes. NQ is much more tradable overnight. Interesting, George. How do you trade it overnight? Because I find it very, very thin. Are you trading it for like 20, 30 points positionally? Then, that's certainly possible. But scalping it overnight, I find it very, very thin. It's like, good for 1 or 2 contracts. That's it. Yesterday, I had 3 contracts on. It took me like 10 minutes to get out of my position at limit. It was like 1, 2, 3. It was like painful, like watching paint dry. All right, gold does a dip and clip. S&P holding near 200 SMA, kind of holding bid. NASDAQ is also holding bid around 200 SMA over here, not doing much. So we don't have any signals here, and we don't have any signals. One of the things that I really learned, by the way, trading this kind of a setup is do not improvise. I know it's tempting. Oh, you're like, oh, it's a green zone near 200. Let me buy it. Oh, it's a red zone. It's breaking 200. Let me sell it. Don't create setups that you haven't tested and you haven't worked on. It's fine to do this in a junk account. Like, if you have a junk account where you're like, oh, I'm just going to fool around and try to find new interesting ways to trade and discover, right? Explore. I want to explore. But if you want to explore, you have to do it in a different account. If you want to exploit, you have to wait until your setups show up. And if they don't show up, you can't exploit. You got to be a hunter. Yeah, you're trading 30, 50 points. That makes a lot of sense, George. So George is kind of trading. You're trading kind of directional stuff. Which, by the way, we can talk a little bit about the trend trader indicator that I made for everybody, which I will. I'll show it to you in just one second. Just want to see what's going on here as far as markets go. Nothing much going on here. Man, it's really, really quiet. We're just like twiddling our thumbs. Market's just completely not moving in any direction. We don't have any news. There's also no news today on the calendar. It's kind of very, very quiet. Do I think, if we start correcting downward, is 5,900 in view? 1,000%. Can this thing come down to below 50? Absolutely. We're grossly overbought, but it doesn't mean anything. But so, while this is putzing around, we might start generating sell signals. And again, there's no reason to front run price development. I know we're breaking 200 SMA. I know it is tempting to just want to say, oh, we took out the SMA. Let's just short over here. And yes, it may very well work, but there's no reason to anticipate this. If this thing is going to be a sell, it's going to start becoming a sell. If it's not, it's going to just fake you out like it does over here. You sold the bottom over here, you'd have been stuffed to the upside, right? It's testing support. It hasn't broken it. It will show up on the charts. James, what do you tell me about the YM? YM is a deep sell trade, right? By the way, I know, and guys, much as I've tried to kind of fix this, there's a little bit of a glitch where sometimes it will misfire the red triangle. The red triangle should actually be over here, but it will misfire it. I don't know what. I think has to do with how the moving averages are calculated here. Whatever. It's not that important. You guys know that basically generally the red triangle is going to show up on the red zone over here, right? That's how it's going to show up. So you get a sell setup, red zone, red triangle, and most of the time it's very, very accurate. Occasionally it'll just get a little funky on the move. Now, here's a question. On the YM, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sell signals, right? Sell signals. Five. And I talked about this with you guys a little bit yesterday, how, when you have 4 or 5 consecutive sell signals in a row, and you are quite a distance away from the large moving average support, and you're quite a distance. What's the better trade? The next red triangle that tells you a short, or a possible reversal trade that could occur? Now, my argument is that the reversal trade is going to be the better trade here. The red triangle may work, but this is already the 5th sell signal in the series, right? So if it's the 5th sell signals in this series, it's quite a long time, and it's also quite stretched away. It's a couple of 300 points away from the moving average. So a much better trade, in my opinion, would be a red triangle and then a green zone, a buy wave. I want to be buying the buy wave after a red triangle and see if I could resolve that one as a trade. Dr. G has asked me what my profits and stops are. So the cool thing is, guys, I'm gonna, my profits and stops are 1 point in S&P, 5 points in NASDAQ, 5 points in Dow. It's 515. But the cool thing is, I'm actually going to create a banner. So NASDAQ showing a sell. This is what's called a count. If you get a sell, I get a sell label against a non-sell situation. So this is what this means is it's a non-trend sell, right? If I go see, it's a non-trend sell. It's above the moving average, but it's sending me a sell signal. It's just good to know that that it's there. Okay, it's starting to break the downside, so maybe we'll start getting some signals. Anyways, what I was going to say is I'm going to put all my stops and targets permanently on the banner, and that way you guys can actually see it. So we're going to make it a lot more user-friendly for you guys starting tomorrow. I'm just working on the graphics with my graphics designer, so you won't have to ask ask me that question. So we're still NASDAQ NASDAQ just broke the big support. S&P holding it. YM is deep underneath there, right? So now let's watch YM, because YM all right, I'm going to trade YM in my ES account. Okay, am I in my ES account? Let me see. Which account am I? Yeah, this is my ES account. 51 is my ES account. So I'll trade YM with you in this if I get this, because I want to show you the reversal trade. Because the reversal trade is, of course, far less frequent than the continuation trade, but it is a very good trade. It showed up like 5 times yesterday during the extended, and literally it worked 4 out of 5 times. And obviously, the one time it didn't work, it resolved on the next one. In other words, you could have repaired it out. So, 100 point risk, you had 400 points on the reversal trade alone. And then you obviously try to collect on the continuity trade. That's the beauty, by the way, of doing these small trades, is that you can also trade reversal and continuity. You can be bi-directional. Not that there's anything wrong with that, the old Seinfeld joke. You could really move towards that $1,000 target per day that you're trying to do. Now, the other reason why I kind of like trading this, and I know it's super slow, and God knows, it's so much fun when I banked out, $50,000 accounts in 3 or 4 days. So much easier to do that. Is because when we get into the real trading environment, when we get into the funded trading environment, where I'm going to have like 5-6 funded accounts. If you trade this way, you have a much, much greater chance of keeping the money and then getting paid out on the money, which is really the ultimate goal of all of this, right? The ultimate goal is for us to learn the skills to keep the money and to get, to pay out the money. So I'd rather practice in my eval phase on what I consider to be lower lower phase on, on my stuff versus the other stuff. All right, I got my third dog in the house right now with me, so there may be some barking. Just letting you know. Okay, so yes, the red triangle resolved. This was, the continuity trade would have been good for 5 points. Fine, not a big deal. I had a reasonable chance that maybe it would resolve. The more interesting question is, will the reversal trade be fruitful for us? So I'm like, the reason why I'm doing, again, the reversal trades, because I have like 5 consecutive reds. I have lots and lots of spread. When I have a big fat distance between the support, the long-term support, and the actual price, I want to be looking much more for mean reversion. Even if I'm early, this may be very, very early. We may have more continuity to the downside, but we'll see. Let's take a look at NASDAQ over here. See if NASDAQ actually held bid. We're all right back above. So the other interesting thing is that both NASDAQ and S&P are modestly positive. It's the Dow that's just getting crushed right now. Dow's getting crushed because of Boeing. Boeing is, I think, just such a piece of crap stock that it really, it really makes it dragging the Dow down. Anyways, let's see if we get a buy wave here. because we don't have any other signals here on the other side. Let's see if we get a buy wave over here. Oh, we got the buy wave. Join bid. Oh, it ran away from me. Sorry. No, did it run away from me? Yeah, it ran away from me. Let me see if I can get into the trade here. I am at 103, targeting 108, and that was and I got that filled. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't chase this was because I knew this was going to be a relatively volatile trade, and I wanted to make sure that I had the right the right price entry, because this was a very, very large reversal candle, right? If this was a small reversal candle, I wouldn't have had much problems trying to chase it. But it was a large reversal candle, so I knew it had the chance to retrace and retrace hard. So this is one of those classic trades where you can be right on direction, wrong on the execution. And this would have been, I would have been wrong on the execution completely here as the trade kind of just came back out. So this was just simply me doing a relatively decent job on execution, unlike the other times where I'm not doing such a good job. Now let's go back to, okay, we're done with this. Is there a 10 o'clock? Is there any news? What's going on here? We had this big reversal. Let's see if we have any news. Let me see. No, not that much. New York Fed is bad. No, nothing. No, nothing much going on here. We have the 6-month yield. Nope. Just watching prices here. Okay. So let's see what you guys have to say to me. How do you put on the triangle? It's programmed on. It's programmed in there. George says no news, just algos doing their thing. The algos are definitely doing their thing. The algos are definitely just, ripping this up and down in a completely arbitrary fashion, which, by the way, and this is, notice that I'm not getting signals, right? It's a lot of noise. The indicator is not extracting signals, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. It ignores the noise, tries to look for the signal within the noise. If I don't have the signal, I don't have an indicator, which is good. It's boring to not be able to take many trades. We only took 2 or 3 trades today. NASDAQ now finally showing me a buy setup. Okay, so the other thing I was going to say to you is everything in life is interpretive. Everything is interpretive. This is why, people say, oh, if your indicator isn't working 100% of the time, it's not a good indicator. That's exactly the opposite of how life works. As I told you, I'm reading this really, really fascinating book called Free Agents, which is all about how we are as biological beings, what life is all about, how life operates, and why we are the way we are from a purely quantum-based level all the way up to the neurological level. Guy's sort of brilliant biologist, and the primary function of how our brain operates is to interpret the reality in front of us and then make A/B decisions. In other words, depending on the interpretation, the same set of facts is going to lead to a complete different action from an organism, which is what is going to ensure its survival, right? In other words, if the organism is doing the exact same action continuously in a fully programmed way, like a computer is, then their chance of survival becomes 0 because they cannot adapt to the change in the environment. And trading, once you kind of sort of understand that it's a biological domain, just like it's like the ultimate biological domain, is very much that. So my point being is, I said to you, oh, if I have like 4 buys in a row, I would never get long. Yeah, most of the time, I wouldn't get long if I'm like way above the moving average all the way up here. But if I have a buy signal over here near the long-term support, and then I have a green triangle, even though I've had 6 consecutive buy signals before, but they've all come back down to the support level. Yeah, I'm going to take that trade. It's not about how many consecutive labels you have. It's about how many consecutive levels you have and the location of price relative to the longer term support, right? If I'm near value, then the possibility of me popping higher from value is pretty good. If I'm really far away from value and I've already had 5 or 6 winners in a row, or 5 or 6 green labels in a row, the probability of me continuing on that path diminishes considerably. It's all a matter of interpretation. So the beautiful thing about this is that you can, the indicator provides you with as much information as you can handle. And if you can interpret it properly, it becomes a really useful tool in terms of positioning you on the right side. Like, not the least of which, by the way, is you see it's not putting me into any trades. Like right now, this would be a fucking disaster. We used to do this all the time, where I would be, oh, let's buy long. Oops, I got stopped out. Oh, let's chase the shorts. Oop, I got stopped out. Oh, let's buy long. I got stopped out. This is churn and burn environment. I can't tell you how many prop accounts are getting blown up right now in the last 20 minutes of people chasing price up and down, right? It's a churn and burn environment. And I don't, nothing has shown up on my charts, and I'm doing nothing. It took me a long time to kind of respect that. But once you do, it makes all the difference in the world. You guys following me on this? All right, 67% to the NQ for blowing you up. Gold number 2 and ES number 3. I want everybody to have this poll burned into your mind, because this is exactly what you need to understand about risk. It's just statistics. I mean, it's not. I just polled you guys. You just gave me the answer statistically of exactly. How tough NQ is, right? Where are the results? How come did I stop the poll? How come I'm not publishing the results? What's going on here? Okay. Anyways, you guys saw the polls, right? You saw the poll. 67% was to NASDAQ, which means it was almost 3 times as large as the next one, which was gold at 20%. And only 15% of you blew up on S&P. So again, my point is S&P is the money trade, even though sometimes it's very, very boring. Let's take a look at the S&P doesn't have. YM has a scalp sell. Okay, let's go back to YM. Okay. So just because we got nothing going on here in this. So YM is a scalp sell again. Now this is the 7th sell, right? Again, I want to kind of watch this again. I want to see if I get a red, green move here as a reversal move. Now, the mistake I used to make, and this is a really small but super important nuance. I used to make this mistake of like, oh, let me just take the green buy wave after the sell setup label. This is going to be a turn label. It's going to be a turn trade. Sometimes it works, but very often it doesn't. It's nowhere near as probabilistic as the second wave, as the second buy wave. So in other words, you have the sell wave, you have the sell label, you have the sell wave, and then you have a secondary buy wave. That buy wave generally is going to be a much better buy wave to do. Now, you could have bought this. Yes, I could have bought this 54. It would have actually gone up, 10. And the reason why is because it's like the 7th sell label in a row, but it's still not as good conditionally good a trade as waiting for the second sell wave with a red triangle and then buying the green wave after that. Oh, I see. Finally, the poll printed. Karen says doesn't count. Only NQ has got me funded as well. Can't trade a yes, lose money every time you try. Hey, that's actually the best thing I've seen somebody say, because here's the ultimate truth with all this trading advice. It's completely immaterial to you. It's only material to me. If you're my kind of personality, it may have some relevance. But if you're not my personality, it won't. That's why I don't give trading advice. I give trading indicators, which you then use to your own personality. The best guys in my room are the ones that trade all my stuff 1,000,000% differently from the way I trade it. There are guys in my room who do like the exact opposite. They'll actually plow into a trade at large size and then scale out of it really, really well. Like there's a couple of guys who do that job on like these $250,000 accounts, and they fund them really fast. That's a technique that's amazing. It's not a check technique that I'm good at, so I don't trade. But the point is that this is the beauty of the indicator is it's a tool for you, but you need to know what's your best strategy. I mean, there are people who hate trading reversals that would never trade reversals. I live and die for reversals, right? I want to trade reversals. It's all about your personality, much more than it is about anything else. Let's see what the S&P is doing. Wow, it is truly a churn and burn Tuesday. It's just a chop. Yes, I know we have an 11 o'clock meeting. I'm only going to be with you guys for another 20 more minutes today because we actually have a wealth charts. If you guys haven't signed up, maybe maybe I'll get the link from Kay. There's a wealth charts webinar that we're going to be doing. It should be a lot of fun. Come join us. It's free. You can register, I guess, on their wealth charts. Let me just put the yes. That was not a police card. That was an ambulance. Wealth charts.com. I think they have. It's probably on their website where we're doing the webinar. All right. So now, okay, let's watch the YM. Back to the YM. 38 seconds left. Kind of a sell label, red wave, green wave. I'm trying to trade the green wave reversal here. Let's see if it works. Very much want to wait till the candle completes because you can see that, look at this. It could just fall right into the red zone, right into the green zone. Join bid. Okay. And I'm long this now, targeting 70. Let's see if we can make 70. Maybe not. It's still very, very choppy. And the other thing, by the way, about the YM that absolutely is a tough trade is 15 points on YM is nothing, right? It can retrace against you all the time. So what you really want is just pure continuity. And I got clipped on this, no problem. We'll come back on the next red wave, see if we can, next green wave, see if we can resolve it. Or unfortunately, this could be one of those where it stops me out and goes on to make money. So both YM and NQ are very much guilty of this. This kind of a move where it stops me out and then goes in my direction, much more common, which is why I like trading the ES much more as an instrument, right? So YM now just clipped me out on the down move here. I'm gonna watch give it one more shot here on the trades here. Let's see if we can get a reversal move here. Waiting for this candle to complete because I really want to, have at least a modicum of confidence that this is actually going to hold as a buy wave. All right, long, and resolved. So, okay, let's analyze what I did with this trade. This took me literally 1 second to repair the trade. What I did with this trade, what I did with this trade was, first of all, like I said to you, when I'm trading small, and this is tiny, this is like a $25 trade, so I just resolved it for 75 over here. And this is another reason why I don't trade YM is because it's not liquid enough to really trade size. Just if you're trading for scalping, it's just not worth it. If you're trading for 100 points, absolutely. But let's just kind of analyze what I did here. So in the prior trade, I was like, let's go bid and see if we can resolve that, which is fine. In this kind of a trade where you already have a second green wave, the prospect of a runaway move to the upside was much stronger. And all I needed was like 5 points of price action. So at that point, I'm coming in market instead of limit and just letting the whole thing run. And you can see, I went market, was it 67 to 72? That was like a trade that took, 10 seconds. But you need to be watching the chart very carefully. You need to make sure the candle closes green. And then you just, everything is pre-set up. Boom, boom, boom. You hit it. And it gets done very, very quickly. It actually now obviously starts, my thesis that this is a reversal trade works for much, much more. And here's the good part. There are lots of guys in my room who are going to take this idea and instead of doing a 5-15, they're going to do a 50-100. They're going to say, oh, this is the 7th or the 8th, sell stop label. This might be good for a 50 point move. I'm going to take one contract, 50 points, $250. Boom, I'm done. Very easy to do this with this indicator if you have the right mindset and the right interpretive conditions. I'm just showing you sort of short-term, short bursts of scalps, but you get the idea, right? All right, let me see if there's any comments because I left you. I was trading, so I didn't see any of your comments. Yeah, today is definitely chop day, but even within chop day, look at look, guys. Every trade I made today is either a winner or a scratch, right? The first trade in the Dow was a winner. The second trade was a scratch. The trade in the where's my S&Ps here? The first trade in the S&P was a winner. The second trade in the S&P was a winner. So 2 winners. The only thing we haven't done is any trades in NASDAQ because we literally have not had any signals in NASDAQ. And we may not have any, before I come in. And that's the other great thing is we had no legitimate signals. So therefore, there was no legitimate trades, which is as good as doing trades, because if you don't do trades that are bad, you're saving yourself money, right? Penny saved is a penny earned. All right. Any questions about any of this, guys? Everybody kind of following me? Are we all rock and roll? I don't have any more signals just yet. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a sell move in NAS and S&P. Remember, I said if NAS starts breaking down, 900 is just beckoning. Those of you who want to take this trade, for a move towards 900, you're probably going to do really, really well. It's not a setup of mine, but definitely a move that could occur. ES, no signals also. Correct. Just no signals. ES is totally flat. If you look at ES, it's literally, 5 points away from the value line. And, when you're that tight to the value line, there's not going to be much opportunity. Dow, NASDAQ finally breaking down a little bit here, creating a little bit of a sell wave. And so is the S&P. I mean, the shorts are gunning for the 900, right? That's going to be like the most obvious level to take the stops out, and then they're going to go from there. Sell set up in S&P possible? No, not quite yet. There we go. So, now kind of thinking how I would trade this going forward. I mean, the beautiful thing about the indicator is that it allows you to think through the strategy patterns, right? You don't have to be instantaneously reactive. You can create a trading scenario in your head. By the way, one of the most this is what separates us from virtually every other. I think the chimpanzees are the only ones that can do this. It's the ability of cognition. This is, us as higher level animals. I'm going to teach you biology all the way through because I'm so fascinated by this book. Basically, the idea that instead of just simply reacting like instinctual animals, we can place scenarios in our mind and then determine which scenario is optimal and then enact it in real life, right? That's literally how we should. Typically, we're basically trading the way our dogs are urinating, purely instinctual, right? If you look at our dogs, they're pretty much instinctual animals because they don't really have higher level cognition. That's how we trade, and that's how we all get in trouble. But the ones that are higher level traders can entertain scenarios in their head and then play them out and then act on them. So the beauty of the indicator is that it kind of gives you that 5 minutes of cognition where you can play out the scenario. If I have a buy signal or sell signal here, I can then wait for the next sell wave in order to engage with the market instead of just instantaneously reacting like a moron. So I think it's kind of interesting, right? Yes, we're going to do class tonight. Sell signals in either one of these things, but not much. Was it 52 seconds left? All right, so they're both showing not even showing much of a sell signal here. Markets are definitely very slow. The other thing that's interesting is this is what I want to show you. We got a few minutes before anything sets up, so we can come back to this. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what made me realize. Somebody was talking about the fact that they think that. Okay, so this is Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You can do ES volume, right? So this is what really caught my eye. This is the S&P, the most liquid instrument in the world in the futures business, in the future space. Look how flat. I mean, basically, 1.5 million is kind of like the mid-range, right? Like if you do 1.5 million contracts, that's a pretty decent volume. And if you're doing 1 million contracts, that's a little bit weak, right? And we've been doing literally today we're doing 900,000. Well, no, yesterday we did less than 1 million contracts. Friday we did 1 million. Thursday we did 1.1 million. Those are really lame numbers. It wouldn't be at 1.5 million. When we were at this kind of low volume, the churn and burn becomes much more pronounced and much more obvious for us to see. All right. So a couple of things happening. We can look at the S&P. We might get one last S&P trade here, if we get a red triangle. Nasdaq also showing us red. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold now is made a nice clean buy, right? Nice clean buy over here into the trade. And now if gold gives me a green triangle as a follow-on trade, that's going to be a pretty decent trade. Meantime, we're going to be looking at Nasdaq and S&P as my two potentials here. So S&P goes green zone, and if it goes red zone, it's going to give us a signal. I'm already pre-set up on my S&P, so if I get a signal, I'll trade it. No signals, but we're waiting. We're just waiting patiently. Nasdaq is giving me a signal, pretty steep signal here. 45 seconds left though. So if that's going to be the case, I'll go to my Nasdaq account and trade that. If there's a sell signal in Nasdaq, but not a sell signal in the S&P. It's a big decline. Nasdaq really having a hard time here. Okay, let's go to the 52 account. 23 seconds. Oh, but the S&P is also giving me a signal. So now I'm always gonna preference S&P. So I'm gonna go to my S&P account first and hold and wait and see if I can get into my S&P account here. But we're gonna wait to make sure that it really stays green or red. Okay, short 904.25, targeting 903.25 on the S&P, and we can go to my Nasdaq account and just sell that one, and just see if that one works. But right now, we're going to just watch the S&P account. Neither one of them may be working right now. Pretty big decline on the pretty big candle here, right? So this is a big sell-off candle. So it's very vulnerable to a retrace. Remember, one of the things is like when the candle itself is the size of my stop. So it's a 04 to 07, which is virtually the size of my 3-point stop. Then it's very vulnerable to a retrace. In which case, I'm fine. I'm fully prepared for it. If it retraces, I'll reset on the next sell signal. But I took the trade to kind of let it play out. I'm following the S&P account, but I'm also in the I can't show both at the same time because I have to switch accounts. So right now I'm just showing you the S&P account. 903.25 is the target in the S&P. All right, exit. I'm going to exit the S&P account. Not because it's not going to get filled, but because I got to go, and I wanted to just kind of commemorate the account. Let me see which account I'm in. Hang on a second. Let me see which account I'm in. I'm in the S&P. Why isn't this showing me? Oh, okay. Let's look at this. Let's go to settings, executions. Okay. So I didn't sell this, very well. I could have easily done the 25, but I wanted to close the S&P account because I just didn't want to be managing because I got to go into a webinar, which unfortunately is the case. But this would have worked. Again, it was a big retrace against me. It would have worked for yet another winning trade. But then if we switch around to my Nasdaq account, you can see how cleanly that worked, right? 57 against 52 resolved itself. It did have. I had a huge amount of heat against me, and in this case, coming in market really, after a few getting a better price was really made the difference. But this was a dangerous trade, right? Like a big move, 78 to 53, 20-point move, and I have a 15-point stop. Generally, a good technique when you have that kind of a large candle is to try to wait a little bit and try to short on the green retrace candle, which is what I did here naturally because I had to delay. So if I was coming in here, it would have been 54, but I waited just a little bit and it got me in at 57, which then in turn allowed me to resolve the trade quite nicely and quite quickly. So, in all of these setups, there's always nuances, but overall, you can see the nuances, work your way. We finish up, miraculously enough, with five winning trades and 1 scratch for the live session today, which is not bad given that it's just been burn and churn Sunday. Just burn and churn Tuesday. Just been a complete churn. Second signal, by the way, in NASDAQ, legitimate signal. I can't take this because I got to go. But this is a legitimate signal because remember, it's only the second sell signal in this thing, and it looks like it might be setting up for a deeper dive down, right? Although this is Tuesday, so who the hell knows? Also, this may not be a signal if it retraces back up above the move. But anyways, I'll leave it to you guys. If you guys are interested, please get the Apex account. If you want to join me, here's my coaching link. I will be there tonight, and you'll be ready to go. By the way, here it is. Would have been another $100 right then and there. Short 59, came back down to 49. Would have been a super easy, quick trade if you were just kind of focusing there. Guys, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys really enjoyed it today. I hope you guys saw some good trades. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow. Hopefully, the markets will be a little bit more conducive to some movement. And if they don't, we're still going to be able to extract what we can out of the markets with the indicators that we have. So I'll see everybody tomorrow. Everybody enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.